this is our online service. And so if this is your first time watching, welcome. And if you visited before, we're just glad you're here. And so just thank you for being part of us and joining us in this consciousness of joy and celebration for the truth that we know. And so what I want to do is that today our special music guest is Jeff G. And so Jeff, why don't you go ahead and get us going with some music?
All right. This is a song to help wind everybody up. This song is called Frequency. Seeing things differently. I'm feeling some good company. Things I intend, my heart can't pretend. Raising my frequency. Seeing things differently. The spirit inside of me. I can control the light in my soul, raising my frequency, raising my frequency, raising my frequency. Oh yeah, raising my frequency. Seeing things differently, better than I thought it would be. Raising my frequency, raising my frequency, raising my frequency. Oh yeah. Raising my frequency. Raising my frequency, raising my frequency. Oh yeah, raising my frequency.
Thanks, Jeff. And isn't that what it's all about? That we're here to raise our frequency and really live more into that. So, Victoria, I think you might have an announcement or two for us.
Yes, I certainly do. First of all, welcome everybody. I'm so glad to be here. Our announcement today has to do with our sandwich making. That's our outreach project to try to help the homeless situation here in Tacoma. And normally we meet to make 100 sack lunches on the first Saturday of the month. However, in July, that would be the 4th of July. So we're going to do it the second Saturday of July, which would be July 11th. Same time, same place, making 100 sandwiches to help out our homeless issue here in Tacoma. And you're all welcome. If you would like to know more details, please get in touch with us through our website. And look forward to seeing you. We have a really good time, and it feels so good to even do just a little bit once a month. Every little bit counts towards making life a better place for our community. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And it's all about coming together in community as well as serving and being of sacred service. And so now it's time for us to go on in and say our prayer for protection. And if we will, let's continue to do this as a call and response. So as I speak the words in white, I invite you to affirm the words in yellow and claim your light. So the light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. And the presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. So thank you so much, So Jeff, I think it's all about you again here, dear.
Okay. Well, here's a song. This is inspired by a speech, excuse me, by Eric Butterworth. And every time I think about Eric Butterworth, I want pancakes. But this is something he said about the supermind. In the supermind, we're always whole. And there's nothing that divides us. So I hope you enjoy. This is called Supermind. Life inside, love inside, loving me, loving you. Life inside, love inside, loving me, loving you. We are born in the supermind. We always have been home. Unsanctified. There is no need for control in the supermind. Peace inside, joy inside. Peace in me, peace in you. Joy inside, peace in me, peace in you. We are all born in the supermind. We always have been home. Really, all no lives that divide. There is no need for control in the supermind. We are all one in the supermind. We always have been home. Really, all no lives that divide. There's no need for control. The supermind.
you, Jeff. That was great. That was great. All right. So he's gotten us all ready and all engaged in our super consciousness, our super mind, so that we can enjoy this service this morning. And so what I would say, and I say this a lot when I teach classes, and sometimes I'll say it on a Sunday. The information that's being presented is what was shared, what was downloaded, and things like that. So what I recommend is take and receive that which really supports you, that which aligns with your consciousness, or maybe takes you to the right there to that edge, your growing edge, and leave the rest of it alone. This is all about your spiritual journey as individuals. And so today, we're going to continue our focus on health and wholeness, of that health and that nurturing of the mind, the body, and the spirit. And earlier this month, we explored the sacredness of the body and the importance of honoring the spirit or source or God by whatever name within us. And so today, we're going to deepen that idea and look at harmony. Harmony is more than just a musical term. Okay. Holistic health, it's not about caring for different parts of ourselves, but it's about recognizing that these parts are connected. The mind, the body, and spirit, they're not three separate aspects of our lives that we're trying to manage, but they are three dimensions of a sacred life. When the body's exhausted, the mind often becomes anxious. When the mind is troubled, the body may become tense. I know about that. When I carry tension, when I have a tense situation, I carry it in the back of my neck and my shoulders. So I can relate to what some of these things cause in our bodies. When we feel disconnected from spirit, our emotions may feel heavy. And the good news is when the soul is nourished, the whole being begins to respond. Everything feels lighter. Everything feels like we are increasing our frequency, our vibration. And the scripture from John 3 says, I pray that all may go well with you and that you may be in good health, just as it is well with your soul. And so, what a beautiful holistic blessing, that it may be well with the body, well with the life, and well with the soul. And so that's our prayer today. That's our prayer for us as we move through this thing called life, is to be well in all of those aspects. I used the word harmony a few minutes ago, and that's really an important piece for us to look at. In unity, we understand healing as a return to that awareness of wholeness. Wholeness doesn't always mean that the outer condition immediately changes. Wholeness means that we remember the truth of who we are, even when we're moving through the healing process. It's not, we're not broken people trying to become spiritual. We are spiritual beings remembering our wholeness. Let me say that one again. We are spiritual beings remembering our wholeness. So health, then, is harmony with divine life. And harmony doesn't mean that there's never challenges. In music, harmony includes different notes. Some are high, some are low, some create tension before resolving, and yet they are all brought together with awareness. They are creating something of beauty. I love listening to harmonies. To me, that's just like all of these different layers and levels, and they come together in a beautiful essence. And our lives are like that. So, there are seasons of strength and vulnerability. There are days of clarity and confusion. There are moments of joy and of grief. And there's times of action and times of rest. So holistic health teaches us to listen for that divine rhythm in each season of our experiences. And so really, spiritual practice is kind of a balancing act. Balance is one of the great spiritual practices that we have. Many of us have learned to live at extremes. I mean, think of our world today. We work until we're exhausted, and then we just collapse. We give until we're empty, and then we wonder why maybe sometimes we resent things. because we have depleted ourselves. We pray so deeply in times of crisis and then forget to pray when it feels like life is going along really well. We care for others, but so many times as we're caring for others, we neglect ourselves. I was part of an organization when I lived in Omaha, and we went through special training, and it was all for the caregivers of individuals with cancer. And it was reminding them that, yes, they may be the primary caregiver, but these are the things that we need to incorporate in our lives so that we're not depleted, so that we're not put in a situation where we're unable to share and to care. And divine life, it moves in a sense of balance. Think about it. You don't inhale without eventually exhaling, right? So there's that inhaling and the exhaling, day and night, activity and rest, giving and receiving. Silence and expression. So we may not be saying anything, or we may be expressing and emoting quite a bit, but it's all about that balance of things. I know I've found myself in times when I was definitely out of balance, and I might be going to an extreme in one direction. And luckily enough, we're able to do course corrections. Our brother in Wayshore, Jesus, he practiced balance. He taught, he healed, he served, and he loved. But he also withdrew from the crowds to go and be in the silence, to go to pray. He went apart. He separated himself from those around him so that he could restore. He rested and he listened. And so, if Jesus needed times of solitude or renewal, there's a good chance that we do too. And sometimes we confuse self-neglect with service. We think loving others means ignoring ourselves. And, the thing is, we cannot pour from an empty vessel. We can't do it forever. So we need to step back and pull apart just enough to where we can renew and refresh who we are. I may have spoken just a little bit about this a couple of weeks ago, but holistic health reminds us, too, that self-care is not a selfish thing. It is actually sacred preparation for service. When we care for ourselves, we become more able to love. When we rest, we return with a greater presence, or the greater ability of presence. When we pray, we respond with greater wisdom. And when we nurture our bodies, we have more energy to express our divine purposes. So nurturing our bodies, well, what about nourishing our bodies? The body thrives when we offer it nourishment, when we offer it movement, rest, and care. And so nutrition is not about rules or restrictions, and it can be an act of reverence. We might ask, what foods help me feel alive, help me feel clear and supported? Rather than eating from guilt or habit, we can learn to eat with gratitude and awareness. I know I personally have been going through some things. My blood sugar had been going wonky. And they put one of those little things, they gave me these things to put on my arm to kind of keep up with it. And what I'll say is that's been a great tool for me, because as I am nourishing my body, I can truly have a window to see the effect that whatever I'm nourishing my body with as far as food and how that's affecting my body. I think sometimes we get a little bit separated from the consciousness of knowing and awareness of what our body needs and how it's responding. So I'm blessed that, technology is such that we can now have that view and see what's going on. And so it's becoming where when I sit down to have a meal, it's a more conscious experience. It's paying closer attention and using that power of discernment in order to go, all right, is this something my body truly needs, or am I just being indulgent in this? Because just because somebody cooks something and put it on the table doesn't mean we have to eat it all the time. We can choose. We can choose to eat what feels right to us. And so, the other piece about that is movement. movement matters. We don't all need the same kind of movement. One person, it may be walking. For another, could be just stretching or dancing or swimming or gardening or doing some sort of chair exercise. I know if you're on Facebook, you've probably seen all these chair yogas and Tai Chi walking and chair exercises. Those are to remind us that at no point do we have to be totally inactive. There are different things we can do at our different abilities. And so something though for us to remember, especially if you're in an environment where there's more individuals, that the goal in our movement is not a comparison to what someone else is doing. Our actual goal is aliveness, is for us to encourage our body to be all that it's here to be. And something I think, and I heard something a few years back about the majority of the United States walks around sleep deprived most of the time. We just totally get caught up in everything around us and the hustle and the bustle and I got to do this and I got to do that we forget that rest is equally holy. In this culture that often glorifies busyness, rest can feel countercultural. But rest is built into the spiritual pattern of creation. In the story in Genesis, it gives us the image of the Sabbath or of the sacred pause. Rest says, I trust God enough to take a pause to stop. My worth is measured not by my productivity. I am a human being, not just or not merely a human doing. And I think that's the piece for us to remember too. We are beings, and we are being that expression. It's not always about the go, 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 do, do, do. And the next part, and this is kind of fun because this relates right into the song that Jeff did a few minutes ago, but it's about nourishing the mind. The mind needs nourishment, especially this conscious mind and the subconscious mind that takes care of that super consciousness or that super brain, as he referred. We live in a world full of information, a world full of noise and opinions and fear. If we're not intentional, our minds can become cluttered with worry and distraction. And so nourishing the mind, it may be choosing what we consume. What am I watching? What am I reading? What conversations am I replaying in my mind over and over? And what about assumptions? Are we practicing making assumptions? And if so, what's that practice? Those inner stories. What is that inner story that I'm believing and I'm giving power? And Unity uses the spiritual tools of denials and affirmations to help us eradicate or shift some of those pieces. A denial is not ignoring reality, but it's releasing the power that we have given to limiting beliefs. We deny the power of fear. We don't allow it to rule our minds. We deny the power of resentment. We don't allow it to close off our hearts. And we deny the power of stress. We do not allow stress to define our lives. And we affirm with spiritual truth, God is my peace. Divine wisdom, it guides me. Life supports me. I am whole, I am strong, and I am free. This mental nourishment is feeding the mind with truth. The spirit. What about that? We talked about the body, we talked about the mind, we're talking about spirit now. The spirit is nourished through conscious connection with Source or God by whatever name. Prayer, meditation, silence, worship, sacred reading, gratitude. See, I think gratitude is still underrated, even though we talk about it a lot. But gratitude is such a high frequency. When we're in that state of gratitude, we are truly nourishing our spirit. We might spend time in nature. We might offer acts of compassion, listen to music, become involved in some creative expression or service. These practices, what they do is they awaken within us what we already know that is true, that God is present and we are that. Sometimes we say, I need to get closer to God. But from our perspective, from the unity perspective, God's never far away. God is in every life within us. And so spiritual practice doesn't bring God closer. It brings our awareness closer to God. It opens us up to be receptive to that divine connection. Meditation, it's a wonderful thing, but it doesn't create peace. But what it does is it reveals that peace is already present within us. When we silence this, we're able to go into here. And this is where that peace really lives. Okay. Prayer doesn't persuade God to love us. We know that that's not, we don't do this beseeching prayer type of thing. But what prayer does is it opens us to the love that is already present. Gratitude, that doesn't manufacture blessings, but it helps us to recognize those blessings that are present in our life. The spirit is nourished when we remember who we are, when we remember that we are that divine expression. So we've talked a little bit about the mind, the body, and the mind. So let's talk a little about heart, maybe some emotional health and how that relates in our heart space. So a holistic life, well, that includes emotional honesty. Some of us learn to be spiritual by being present. And we may have thought that being loving means never feeling angry, never feeling hurt, never saying no, and never disappointing anyone. But I don't know that that's really the best way for us to look at it. Emotional health asks us to be truthful. So, there's a wholly difference between reacting from emotion and honoring emotion. We honor emotion when we pause and we listen. We ask, we might ask, what is this feeling showing me? What needs healing? What boundary might love require for me here? Where is forgiveness inviting me into an energy of freedom? So it's an interesting thing. And yes, as we do these things, we're doing a lot of self-talk because we're asking ourselves questions. We're asking ourselves and trying to dig deeper and find that true answer. So when we have something that is bringing about an emotion, it's important to kind of tap in and check and see what's going on. And I used that statement there about forgiveness, but what I'll say is, in unity we say there's nothing to forgive. And I kind of agree with that, but then I kind of don't. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful holistic healing practices. And it's not because it excuses harm, but because it releases it from us carrying poison in our own hearts. I've said many times, and I'm sure you guys have heard it many, many times. Whenever we hold on to grievances, whenever we hold on to anger, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to feel the effects. When we're holding on to lack of forgiveness, we're poisoning ourselves. We're creating dis-ease within our own beings. And, maybe sometimes the person who we need to forgive the most is ourselves. We forgive ourselves for not knowing then what we know now. We forgive ourselves for choices made out of fear. Maybe it's forgiving ourselves for neglecting our own needs. I'm sure I'm not the only one that does that from time to time. That we forget. We forget that, oh yeah, okay, I need to take care of this. I need to, make sure that this is shored up and that I'm in alignment. Maybe we forgive ourselves for believing that we had to be perfect to be loved. In divine love, we just take a breath and we begin again. Because we are here to be that perfect expression. And then we don't have to be perfect to be that. We just have to be true to ourselves and love ourselves and let ourselves go anytime that we need to, and just be present to the divine being that we are, and continue all those nourishment pieces. And so this week, I invite each of us to consider a simple holistic health practice, maybe a personal rule of life. Now, it's not a rigid rule. It's not just another burden. It's something we have to remember. Oh, yeah, oh gosh, I did this wrong. I need to stand up, sit down, spin around, and go spit in the fire. No, that's not what it's about. But it's a loving rhythm that supports wholeness. It could be a daily spiritual practice, a moment practice, a mindful nutrition choice, a weekly Sabbath moment, which just means a weekly time of rest. Gratitude, practice gratitude. Do the gratitude piece in the morning when you wake up, even before you get out of bed, and then at night when you lay down. I think it's wonderful. And what I've noticed, I did an experiment for myself on this. If I settled into my night for sleep and I did the last things that were on my mind was this, maybe like an inventory list of everything that I was grateful for. And as I dozed off, it felt like that energy of gratitude flowed with me through the night. And I woke up in the morning with being more refreshed. And then, of course, I had gratitude that I had a great night's sleep and my body is renewed and refreshed. And so it's important for us to remember to do those pieces. One thing, and if you're like me, this is probably one of the biggest challenges, is to be willing to ask for support or ask for help. There's nothing wrong in that. And that actually is showing a level of emotional maturity and emotional health. Maybe ask yourself, what helps me feel connected to Source? What helps my body feel cared for? What helps my mind be peaceful? And then what helps my heart remain open? Choose a couple of practices where you can actually live. The power of not doing, the power is not in doing everything. The power is beginning in that concept of love. And the greatest love we could begin with in this human form is love of self, so that we can show up, so that we can be prayed up, nourished up, and have everything in alignment so that we show up as our biggest, brightest, most beautiful divine selves. At the heart of holistic health is remembrance. It's remembering that we are the expressions of divine life. It's remembering that the body is sacred, that the mind can be renewed and the heart can heal. It's remembering that spirit is never separate from God. This is not a one-time realization. It's a daily practice. Every morning we ask, how shall I honor divine life today? And every evening, maybe, where did I experience God today? Where did I notice? Where was I aware enough that I actually saw it, felt it, heard it, whatever that aspect is? But little by little, our lives become our prayers. Our meals, our walks, our rest, they all become prayers. Our forgiveness and self-care and service, they become our prayers. This is holistic health. It's not compartmentalized spirituality, but embodied spirituality. A life where God is not confined to Sunday morning, but recognized in the breath, the body, the choices, and the relationships. Recognized in that silence and in service. I'm so proud of y'all for doing the sandwich ministry, because that's something that you get the joy of coming together and serving with each other, and then knowing that you are supporting members of your greater community. So, beloved, may it be well with your soul. May it be well with your body and your mind. May it be well with your heart and your spirit. May you listen deeply to the wisdom within you. May you care for yourself without guilt. May you release what no longer serves your peace and nourish what brings you life. And remember that divine life is active. It is active in you now. It is active in you tomorrow. It is active in you from here on out, as it always has been. And so I want to just speak our affirmation for this month once again. And it says, I live in harmony with divine life. My body is strengthened, my mind is peaceful, and my spirit is renewed. And so it is. Amen. And I would love for us to go ahead and take this into a time of meditation. And so if you are willing, if you'll go ahead and begin to prepare yourself, I'm going to throw us a slide up that's got some background music. And we'll just get into this time. All right. Oh, so what we want to do with this time of meditation is we want to enter into the healing harmony within. And so let us take this time to turn within, to sit comfortably, to let the body become still, let the breath become gentle, let the heart come open. And so I invite you to take a slow breath in and release. Again, breathing in and letting go. With each breath, allow yourself to become more present. Oh, yes. There's nowhere else you need to be in this moment. There's nothing else you need to be doing. For this sacred moment, you simply rest in spirit. And if you will, silently affirm to yourself, I am here. God is here. All is well. I am here. God is here. And all is well. Bring your awareness to your body. Bless your body with gratitude. Now, this body has carried you through every season of your life. It has helped you love, it's helped you serve and work, it's helped you pray and grow. And if there's any place in your body asking for care, imagine surrounding it with divine light. Just feel that light flowing into that part of your body. No force, no fear, only love. And we silently affirm, divine life strengthens and renews my body. Divine life strengthens and renews my body. Yes. And now, bring your awareness to your mind. Let the thoughts settle. Let any concerns soften. And let that inner noise just become quiet. Imagine your mind like a clear, still lake. Peace, it rests right there on the surface. Peace, it fills the depths. It's a beautiful lake of ultimate peace. And silently affirm, my mind is calm, clear, and centered in God. My mind is calm, clear, and centered in God. Yes, it is. And now, bring your awareness to your heart space. And if you need to place your hand over your heart area, that's fine to help you focus. And just let your heart be held in divine compassion. Whatever you're carrying, you don't carry it alone. If there's something ready to be released, allow it to gently loosen and float away. If there's forgiveness ready to begin, allow to have divine love to just guide it and support that forgiveness. If there's grief, let it be comforted. If there's joy, let it expand. Let it just be. And silently affirm, my heart is held in divine love. My heart is held in divine love. And now, bring your awareness to your spirit, to your very divine essence. At the center of your being, there is a light that has never gone out. The light is the presence of God within you. It is wisdom, it is peace, love, and life. Just rest in this light. Yes. Now, silently affirm, I am whole. I am one with God. I am renewed. I am whole. I am one with God. I am renewed. And now we enter into a time of sacred silence. And just allow all of these components, all of these things to come together in that perfect harmony as we move into the silence, into the silence. We return from the silence. Gently deepen the breath. Take a nice deep breath in and then let it go. Feel your body being supported. Feel your mind being peaceful. Feel your heart wide open and your spirit renewed. And as you begin to bring your awareness back to the room, carrying with you that healing harmony of the body, the mind, and the spirit. And so together, in the silence of our hearts, we affirm, I live in harmony with divine life. I am whole, peaceful, and renewed. I live in harmony with divine life. I am whole, peaceful, and renewed. And so it is. Amen. And so thank you. Thank you so much for being with us today. And I'm going to ask Jeff to go ahead and give us a piece of music. And a piece of music as we prepare and actually have a contemplation of our gift of giving and receiving. You know, this is that part of our service where we open our hearts to giving. And all of the donations we receive, they go to support the mission and the various outreach programs at Unity of Tacoma. There's always several ways you can give. And so just know that I'll show a slide up here. I'll have a slide up while Jeff is performing. And remembering that you can now go to the Facebook page and give there and just click the donate button on the Facebook page, or you can go to the website. And so go ahead, Jeff.
All right. This song is called Shine, and I hope you enjoy. Shining through, I see your dreams coming true. When you shine, 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 shine. See the Christ in you. It's a natural thing to do. I see it shining through. I see your dreams coming true. When you shine, 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 shine.
Thank you, Jeff. That was great. And so we've come to the close of our time together. And so before Jeff leads us in the peace song, I just want to say, go out into the world and be the truth of who you are. Live your life of mind, body, spirit in that perfect harmony. and know that you are the one. You are the one who represents your piece of the divine being. And so, Jeff, take it away with that peace song.
All right, here it is. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.